Hello and welcome back to the Aquapod. This week I'm delighted to be joined by Sport Aberdeen coached programme manager Dianne Breen and swimming teacher Christian Nuade. Back in September, Sport Aberdeen were announced as Scottish Water and Scottish Swimming's Learn to Swim Provider of the Year at our annual awards evening in Aberdeen. And they were part of an extremely strong group of finalists, including Edinburgh Leisure and Western Bartonshire Leisure. In the end though, Sport Aberdeen were awarded the accolade for their adaptability in the face of adversity, strong community ties and additional support needs provision, amongst many other things. It was great to have Dianne and Christian on the podcast to talk through a number of topics, including their experience of winning Provider of the Year, what their advice would be to other providers considering applying, as well as the great work that they're currently doing at Sport Aberdeen, and the importance of water safety within Learn to Swim in Scotland. We hope you enjoy our chat. So I'm delighted to be joined by Christian and Dianne from Sport Aberdeen. Thank you very much for meeting me and coming on the Aquapod.
Hiya.
Thank you so much.
Good to be here.
I guess just starting off, a bit of a belated congratulations for being our Provider of the Year. I know there was lots of celebrations last year in September up in Aberdeen about it, but congratulations. How was that as a provider, kind of winning that award?
It was amazing. We're just so proud of the team and proud of all the teachers and everybody and all the work that went into it. It was a real team effort, and we're just so proud that we won on the night.
Yeah,
so,
and
really.
Christian, yourself from a kind of teaching point of view, how?
Oh, it was fabulous. I think what we all recognised was we were like, oh wow, we've done a good job. We felt proud of ourselves, and all that hard work, we've got something to show for it, which I think was a really, really great thing to have. And
being among some great finalists there as well, it must really kind of make you proud of the work, and it really showcases you from a national perspective as well.
Yeah, it does. It's about that profile, I suppose, you get from winning. Just really sort of shows that we're making some difficult decisions at times. There's some challenging times over finance and budgets and that, but we're doing a good job, and we're really working hard to try and make sure we're moving the programme on. We're doing new initiatives and that each time. So yeah, it's really proud. And
winning it in Aberdeen must have been pretty cool as well. Maybe you would have preferred it being somewhere else, but it's good that you could do it and everyone could be local and kind of come along and really celebrate.
Yeah, we had a heap of teachers there actually, which was brilliant. It was just really good.
Yeah, no, it was. Do you know what? It was such a proud moment, I think, for everyone. I remember going into work a few days after, and we were like, oh my gosh, we won it, well done guys. It was, do you know what, it was a really happy moment. I remember that day coming in and everyone just being happy, and it's nice to walk into work now and see Provider of the Year, seeing it there, and it's like, well, do you know what, you feel proud of what you do, when you see that, which is great.
And has there been quite a good response from people as well, like from parents and just the local community in Aberdeen?
Yeah, absolutely. We had a few parents come up and congratulate us, and I think that as well was just such a great thing to hear, and you feel really good about your job and what you do for the company. It was a really, really great feeling, really, really good.
And I guess, mentioned already, there's always a really strong sort of cohort of applicants for Provider of the Year, and some that don't even apply but are still really great at what they do. What do you think set you apart to be, to end up being not only a finalist but the winner of the award, Dianne?
I think we managed to showcase sort of through the application process how we're always looking to improve and develop, sort of our programmes, our people within this. So I think that certainly worked. I mean, one of the things that was mentioned at the awards when they announced us as winners was that we're our support for other trusts and other organisations, our partnership working, I suppose. And I was, that was really touching. I think that was actually recognised, because it is part of our ethos, part of our culture, that we try and do that. We recognise that it's really important to work together, and it's not about being better or having, we've got a programme that we want to keep to ourselves. We're absolutely more than happy to share what we do, and we learn from others as well. So I think it's really that partnership working that we do for that to be recognised. I think I was really sort of pleased with that.
Yeah. And I guess that heard you talk at our National Framework Conference and things about areas of work that you guys do at Sport Aberdeen, and that always comes across that you're happy to share and that you want other people to kind of learn from what you've done, the good things and the bad as well.
Yeah, I mean, it benefits everybody, because we're not in competition with anybody. We want to improve aquatics, give the opportunities for everybody to participate in aquatics, or however and wherever they want to. So if we've got a programme that's really good, absolutely keen to share it, and we learn so much from doing that as well from others. So it's absolutely it's a key part of what we try and do.
And Christian, from your kind of point of view as a teacher, how do you find coming to work at Sport Aberdeen, and what's that environment like for you to be able to kind of teach the next generation the life skill of learning to swim?
I think it's so incredible, growing up as well, because I grew up with Sport Aberdeen. Yep. I started volunteering when I was 14. The pool I work at now is the pool I learned to swim at. So being able to now stand there and now teach kids who I was, at that point in time, and realize, we could be, doing great things. Whether or not it's, making them the best swimmer in the world, it might not be. Yeah. But, it's about, this experience with kids in water, and getting them to learn and grow in that environment, even if it is, numbers, colours and stuff like that. You can still teach that stuff while we're in the water. It's all growing and developing, despite not being in school or swimming lesson. It's still, I think, from my experience as well, learning to swim is fundamental, I think, when it comes to growing up. So it's quite incredible.
Yeah, I guess that's quite a cool journey for you then, to have gone in at such a young age and still being here, and it showcases how good a place to work it is, but also just that environment of learning and teaching the next generation.
Absolutely, yeah.
And a big part of the work you guys have done as well, it's been around about kind of additional support needs. I know that is quite an area of focus for yourself. I don't know if you want to maybe talk a little bit about that and how that's kind of come to the front of your work.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work over the last few years in developing our ASN programmes. Obviously, ideally, we keep everybody within the mainstream programmes as much as we can. We adapt those, whether it's adding additional helpers in or reducing capacities. But then, there's always those swimmers that just that environment isn't quite right for them. So then we've got our small group ASN lessons. We've got parent and ASN lessons that we've really developed over the last year. So we've got quite a pathway now. Because we've been providing so many swimmers sort of through that pathway, one of the clubs has added an ASN squad, to accommodate those swimmers. So it goes all the way through, from those parent and child sessions all the way through. I'm really proud of the work that's gone off, and that we can only do that because of the quality of teachers that we've got that can actually sort of deliver to everybody, and it's really
I was going to say that must be a real area of pride then, if your work has then enabled a club to see the potential of having like an ASN squad, and because the groundwork's in place that they're already strong swimmers, they can then go into a club and they might not compete or whatever, but they can enjoy that experience.
Some of them are competing out there, and they're really enjoying that, and they're coming back and winning some medals at different events, and that's really brilliant to see. And it's just hearing their stories of their journeys, has been pretty special.
That's amazing. Are there other examples of you kind of working within the community as well? I know you mentioned that a little bit earlier, Dianne, but your work seems to cover the whole city, but also outside of your organisation as well. And there's been some challenging times for you over the past couple of years with things like pool closures and threats to pools. How has that kind of worked for you?
Yeah, it has been challenging. We've lost a couple of pools, so we've had to really adapt our programmes. We've had to really maximise the pool space wherever we can to try and sort of make sure we can accommodate as many swimmers as we can, and as wider breadth of programmes as we can. We have a big school programme that we deliver, and we've expanded that over the last year just to offer. Sort of we're now doing work with one of the secondary schools to support their school swimming. So we do a lot of school sort of programming work. We've run a life-saving initiative with one of the schools as well through their skills week, so we really try and work closely with them to sort of develop and move our programmes forward.
Amazing. From your perspective, Christian, you've spoke about being a teacher coming in as a volunteer and being through that pathway. At Sport Aberdeen, what kind of opportunities have been given to you to continually kind of develop and train and be the sort of best version of yourself that you can be?
I think, starting here at 14 years old, I've been given endless opportunities, not just in the swimming part of Sport Aberdeen. I've also been opportunities to do gymnastics. I'm busy training to do my early years, my level 3. And we do workshops all the time where we can talk amongst teachers and, be the best version that we can be. I think the opportunities that they've given me, in the 4 years I've been, 4 years, 10 years? How many years have I been here? 7 years. Oh my goodness. And the 7 years I've been here have been just incredible. Not once has a day gone by where, I've thought, hey, I can do this if I want to, or I can do this if I want to with Sport Aberdeen, because I know they'd be willing to give me the opportunity if I asked for it, which is great.
That's fantastic. And what are your kind of goals then within that sort of teaching space? What have you got any aims that you'd like to achieve, or are you quite happy at the minute?
I don't think I've got any aims. I just want every kid or every adult that I have in my lessons to just leave that lesson smiling. There's no goal or anything I strive for. What I strive for is people to come to my lessons, enjoy it, and leave with a smile. And that's as simple as that. Amazing.
A nice way to put it. Dianne, you've been part of the sort of national framework for the whole 10 years that it's nearly been in place. What changes have you seen in that time, and how have you kind of enjoyed being a part of the way that that's developed over the years as well?
I think really embedded the national framework. It took a few years, sort of to move across and to try and sort of work up how we did that. But I think I've really seen just the development of the progression kind of has really sort of come on sort of as we work through. And I think I'm seeing the enjoyment of the swimmers more. We just seem to have got the framework, the basics is all there in place that allows us then to sort of really sort of make sure the teachers are trained. The CPDs has really helped with that, sort of that regular training, that regular support. The conferences that Scottish Swimming offer, again, that opportunity for networking and working together. So the support is there all around us to make sure that we can ensure those swimming lessons are that best possible environment. And we've got the structure, we've got the pathway, we've got the progression there, and that's really sort of, it's just really embedded over the 10 years, and you can really see the benefits of that now. I think in the way the swimmers are progressing, but also in those club links as well, and how those those that are moving on to those performance levels, how they're getting on.
So what do you think the next kind of steps are then for your programme, and how do you see it kind of developing out of some maybe challenging times and hopefully into some more, some great times and more people learning to swim and a real progression of the programme?
Yeah, I mean we've just gone through a system upgrade, so there's lots of administrative and changes that we've been making to try and make sure that we can get swimmers in quicker, we can move them on quicker, and that. So we're moving on to online sign-ups. So we're working the way through that upgrade just now. So that's a big change that's sort of kind of working through. We're putting a lot of emphasis on our health and wellbeing programs, so our Good Boost programs and our hydrotherapy. So that's another big area that we really want to sort of work on and develop. Something that's had some really positive feedback over the last year. We want to continue to develop our ASN pathway and programs, to expand that across, so it's, the whole pathway is across all pools. So lots of areas we're kind of working on, and then the school swimming side of things as well. There's a lot more. Like I say, we're starting to work with the secondary school. We want to try and sort of find funding and keep that going and continue that. So lots of areas we're working on.
And that school swimming thing's obviously quite a big focus for Scottish Swimming across the board. So fingers crossed there's some additional funding and it's able to be replicated where possible across the country.
Yeah, I think it's just vital. I mean, the Scottish Swimming are doing some amazing work to really try and sort of up the profile and sort of keep that, speaking with the relevant politicians, trying to sort of emphasise the importance of school swimming and how vital it is. And I think that that's key, that we get that messaging out there. We're really trying to sort of secure some funding that will help us, because it's a very piecemeal picture across Scotland of what school swimming happens. So I think the work that's going off is excellent, and hopefully it'll have some fruits at the end.
And that kind of water safety piece is so important, isn't it? Up here you've got a couple of rivers, you've got the sea, there's so many bodies of water. Christian, you'll have taught water safety lessons and things. How vital is it to children that are coming through the pathway?
I think it's so important with water safety. I mean, like I said, we live right beside the sea. There's so many bodies of water. You've got Seaton Park, you've got the River Don, you've got the River Dee. There's all these bodies of water, and there's a lot of kids, especially when we talk about school swimming, you come to learn there's a lot of kids that have actually never had any experience when it's come to swimming.
Yeah.
So even if it is school swimming or where it's normal lessons, I think it's really important just to discuss water safety, whether it's, a whole lesson or whether it's, 10 minutes out of your lesson. Let's sit down, let's talk about water safety. What would you do? How would you, go about a situation like that? I think it is so vital. I think it's actually one of my favorite lessons doing water safety teaching. Not only is it of course so fundamental, it's also, I think the kids actually have a great time. And I think as well, if you make that fun time, it'll stay in their memory a lot longer, so when hope to God they don't go into a situation like that, they know exactly what we're going to do and how we're going to deal with that situation.
That's it. And how as a teacher do you make that fun then? I was going to say that that's how you kind of get kids to learn, isn't it? It's getting engaged. It
is about, seriously, it is about having a laugh, get in the water, wave your hands in the air, shout, run to, a red flag that means, or the red and yellow flag, which means there's a lifeguard on duty, or doing our reach rescues, lying on the tummy and reaching out the noodles. For kids of that age, a lot of it is fun. But if they can have a laugh about it and remember that, when that situation does come about, and it is a serious situation, they will remember. So I think it is, about making it a good time, but also making it serious and to the point where they do understand what they have to do in those situations.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of great stuff going on then, and I think people will be able to hear the kind of breadth of real quality stuff going on across Sport Aberdeen. I want to just circle back to Provider of the Year again, since your last kind of 6 months of having that accolade. Firstly, what do you want to kind of do with that, and is there any piece around about kind of promotion for yourselves that you're hoping to continue, or is it really just that you've now had that recognition and you want to kind of keep that going for the next 6 months?
I think we've been trying sort of from our point of view to get that message out there that we are Learn to Swim Provider of the Year. I think it's it's such an accolade. So proud, as we said before, to have won it. That we really are trying to use every opportunity we have to get that messaging out there to show the benefits of that. That we really are a quality programme. That is that recognition for that. So we're doing it through all of our marketing pieces, all of information in our venues, through information out to our customers, and also through sort of any of the partnership working that we have with other trusts and organisations. And we're certainly encouraging them to put their name forward and go for it in future years, because I do think it really is that benchmark that really sort of it's the recognition and the impact it has on the teachers. I think that is great. It really does show that they are appreciated and recognised. So recommend them all to put their names in the hat. Definitely.
Well, that's what I was going to say. What would be your message? You kind of covered it there, but what would your message be to maybe a provider that's thought about it, or is maybe a smaller, they've maybe got only 1 or 2 facilities? Is it go for it, and you can really see those benefits for the community and for your teachers as well? Yeah,
absolutely, go for it. I mean, even if you're not actually successful through that, just that actual going through the process, you do learn, and you're pulling together all the good practice and everything that you're doing. You're actually learning quite a lot about yourselves and seeing where maybe there are areas you could improve as well. So I think even the process itself is very beneficial, but to win was just amazing.
Of course. And I have heard people say that before, that is actually quite a good reflection piece of what you're doing well, and maybe things that you can look to improve on as well. So
definitely
a great thing to do from lots of different perspectives. Thank you very much, both of you. Really appreciate your time, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you
so much. Thank you.
Thanks again for listening to the Aquapod, and we hope you've enjoyed yet another episode. Please consider leaving us a rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, or leaving us a like and a comment if you listen over on YouTube. But until next time, thank you very much.